Good afternoon, and welcome to the South Orange County Economic Coalition's virtual membership meeting for April. And we are talking trash in South Orange County. I'm Dwayne Cave, and I'm a board member with the South Orange County Economic Coalition. The concept of what trash is has evolved over the past few decades. While the waste we throw away still keeps our landfill managers busy, we're recycling more and more each year. What started as glass, aluminum, and paper has evolved to green waste and now even food waste. Joining us today are Hashem Sokar, CRNR's Sustainability Manager, Kate Schlentz, Republic Services Recycling Coordinator, and Hani Ahmed, the Orange County Waste and Recycling. Hashim, Kate, Hani, thank you all for joining us here today. Now let's start by talking about how much waste hauling industry has changed over the years. Kate and Hashim, you both are focused on sustainability and recycling. How far has the waste hauling industry come in the past 20 to 30 years? Kate, let's start with you.
Thank you so much. So, I grew up in the 80s and I can remember recycling campaigns and programs advertised in the media and taught in my school. And I think that that's really when we started to see an increase in participation of curbside recycling. And it just really started to get off the ground. So in the late 80s is when the actual big kind of granddaddy recycling regulation was passed in AB 939. And that really set the stage for future recycling regulations, including the latest organic recycling. So I think that's really indicative of how waste hauling has changed in the past couple of decades, really a shift in behavior, including the desire of consumers to be more eco-conscious and make more eco-conscious decisions. And this has also resulted in increasing government regulation and laws passed to promote more and more recycling, which is what we're talking about today.
Well, thank you, Kate. Appreciate you being here today. And Hashim, welcome to the program and give us your thoughts.
Absolutely, and I agree very much so with Kate. In short, light years, from a time where landfills were unlined and recycling was just a talking point to mandated programs for businesses and residents, ambitious state diversion goals, and now organic recycling laws aimed to fight climate change and food insecurity. Technology has also seen dramatic strides forward with more advanced safety features, cleaner fuel engines, and optical and infrared sorting at our facilities.
Well, thank you. Hani Ahmed from the Orange County Waste and Recycling. Your agency manages the Prima de Seixa landfill in San Juan Capistrano. Tell me about that. What goes in there? What's the capacity? And when is it expected to be full?
Well, good afternoon, everyone. So the County of Orange owns and operates 3 active landfills. From south to north, Prima de Seixa in the city of San Juan Capistrano. In Irvine, there is FRB, and in the city of La Habra, there is Olinda Alpha landfill. So as far as Prima, it was opened in 1976. It's a class 3 landfill, meaning it does not accept hazardous waste. Our permitted daily capacity is 4,000 tons per day. The site measures approximately a little over 1,500, I think 1,530 acres, of which about half is slated for waste disposal. The rest of the acreage is actually dedicated to mitigation and habitat conservation efforts to comply with our CEQA and occasionally NEPA clearances. Here at the site, we mainly do waste disposal. That's our primary activity. And along with that, we do also have metal and mattress recycling, as well as the operation of a greenery or a composting facility to comply with the 1383. Along with these activities, we do have a household hazardous waste collection center. that is operated by a private entity. So that center is actually open to Orange County residents who have any hazardous material that they want to get rid of. That can be batteries, oil, old paint, what have you. In that center, we also operate a material exchange program. So that same customer delivering unneeded materials, they can walk into like a showroom and they can pick whatever materials that they want. It can be old paint, it can be an old TV that they want to fix or whatever. So it kind of reduces the amount of material that we need to get rid of. Along with that, we also have a landfill to gas energy facility that is operated by a private partner as well. So that facility takes the gas from the site and generates power, as I will be talking later more about. The site is actually, our last solid waste facility permit shows that the site is slated to close in 2102, so roughly 80 years from today. However, this is just an estimate based on the rate of delivery of waste in today's market, but that can obviously be, that can change anytime in the future.
Well, it sounds like the landfills have come a long ways since back in the days when they were just called dumps. So what kind of engineering improvements do you have on the site? And what are you working on right now?
Right. So as Kate mentioned, in the late 80s, and I believe in 1991, this is when the new source performance standards came about, the NSPS regulations, which threw in a whole bunch of regulations to owning and operating an active landfill. So after NSPS, the site has to be lined. So obviously, before we start waste disposal at any location, we need to make sure that the liner system is in place. We have a number of agencies that actually overlooking our shoulders. We need to make sure that we're complying with their regulations. That would be the healthcare agency, or what we call the LEA, local enforcement agency. They are working on behalf of Cal Recycle, the state agency, as well as the Regional Water Board. And in the case of Prima, we're looking at the San Diego Regional Water Quality Control Board. So our responsibilities towards our regulators include extensive monitoring and reporting duties. So we have a multitude of reports that we need to prepare and submit, and those reports vary between monthly, quarterly, and annually. Again, away from the dump into a modern landfill. Like I said, we do have a landfill gas to collection, landfill gas to energy generation facility. And the facility that we have right now actually utilizes 2 Caterpillar engines that takes the landfill gas that we collect and generates about 6 megawatt hour worth of energy. And that's roughly adequate to power between 5,000 to 6,000 homes. Along with that, NSPS also required us to look after our aquifers and water quality issues, groundwater quality issues. So for that, we have a number of groundwater monitoring wells, upstream and downstream. We're looking at water quality and any contaminants that the site may have contributed to. So we look at, or we do water testing upstream, we do water testing downstream across the landfill to figure out exactly if there has been any impact. And then obviously after that comes the mitigation part, or how do we fix that impact. As far as what we're currently working on, so there's a project that is in construction right now. The project is basically building a new entrance facility. So it's a new scale house. The current scale house is two fee booths that are attended and 1 automated fee booth. We're adding actually 4 new scales to our entrance for a total of 6 six scales or six fee booths that will be available to our customers. Along with that, also, we're constructing two new flares, low emission flares in compliance with the recent AQMD 1801 rule. So we're replacing our existing flare with two new low emission flares. Total cost of that entire project is about 25 million. And hopefully it doesn't go up with the current rate of inflation or so this is where we are today.
Oh, very good. You know, I'm sure that the population that drives down La Plata Avenue every day had no idea what was going on at Prima de Facia. A lot of work going on. So Hashem, walk us through where your trucks go after they're picked up. You have your waste hauling trucks. I assume those do go to the landfill. Then we have the dry recycling trucks and the green waste recycling trucks. Where do those go?
Thank you, Dwayne. So the recycling material will either go to a transfer station, a location where material is collected and then transferred in a larger vehicle for processing, or it's taken directly to what's called a material recovery facility, or a MRF. These facilities have sort lines where material is separated by weight, density, and composition, and then baled and sorted for shipment to specialized facilities for those individual commodity types. For organic material, it's taken to a transfer station and then transloaded and sent to either an anaerobic digester, CRNRs is located in Paris, California, or to one of our windrow composting facilities located in either San Juan Capistrano or Yuma, Arizona.
Very good. Jim, can you tell us more about the CRNR sustainability program?
Absolutely. CRNR is proud of its legacy and sustainability. As our company began, in fact, as a recycling collection unit, our first truck was a recycling vehicle. Since those early days, we have continued to invest heavily in staff resources, now having one of the region's largest in-house sustainability team, made up of educated and career-established specialists dedicated to helping our customers implement recycling programs custom to their needs, whether it's for a business trying to start a program or a residential family learning about organic recycling. Our sustainability specialists here are here to inform and support the goals of these state laws.
Kate, as a recycling coordinator for Republic Services, what does your sustainability program look like?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking. Yeah, so Republic Services definitely takes a holistic approach to sustainability. Company-wide, we have set some really ambitious sustainability goals as we get towards 2030. We're really committed to reducing greenhouse gas emissions, increasing recovery and circularity of key materials, increasing renewable energy through the use of biogas as well. We have some continued goals committed to the health, safety, and the well-being of our employees, our customers, and of course, the communities we serve. As an environmental services company, we really do play a vital role in keeping our communities not only clean, but safe, and of course, making the planet a better place for now and for future generations. We're definitely putting sustainability into action at Republic.
Thank you, Kate. Now let's go to a question from the public.
My name is Marion Butterfield. My wife and I live in Mission Viejo and have been recycling our food waste since the beginning of the new year. What are the benefits of processing food scraps in this way? And what is this recycling program intended to accomplish?
Well, that's a good question. Hashem, how is CNR addressing the new state law?
Well, first, I have to say thank you for the participation in the food recycling program. The largest benefit of recycling organics is to the world's climate, as methane released from decomposition of organics increases the heat trapping effects caused by greenhouse gases. The second greatest benefit is to the earth soil, as the soil amendments created through composting helps maintain water retention and promotes fertile cropland. Lastly, recycling organics creates renewable energy, which CRNR actually uses to power its fleet collection vehicles.
Excellent. Thanks, Hashem. And Kate, how about Republic?
Yeah, I would just definitely agree very much with Hashem. Food recycling really enables both residential and commercial customers to actively participate in the reduction of greenhouse gases. Like was mentioned, landfills emit methane when organic waste breaks down and decomposes. So through these really simple programs, people can be really proactive about making a difference in our air quality.
Well, thank you. Now let's turn to Haney. How is the new food recycling law impacting the Prima de Seixa landfill? And what is OC Waste and Recycling doing to address this legislation and to meet the new demand?
Right, thank you for that question. So actually, my boss, Tom Cotrulis, the director, have been talking in multiple forums about OCWR's initiative to address 1383 and how to prepare for the future and basically comply with the requirements. So here at the site, we're actually implementing 3 phases to comply with 1383, the 50% diversion by 2020 and 75 by 2025. So phase 1 was basically to develop a composting facility. And I'm glad to report that our facility was opened in last September of 2021. Obviously, there were some delays that were attributed to COVID and what have you, but we're proud of it. So it's a new business that we're getting our feet wet into. There is a whole bunch of training that we had to implement for our staff. And right now we are accepting green waste into our facility, and we have procured a number of pieces of equipment, a wind returner, a screener, a couple of loaders, and we have an ongoing operation. So the facility actually has a capacity of about 204 tons per day. So it is not a small facility. But we're proud of it. That's phase 1, and it is moving actually ahead of the planned operation for it. Our sister landfill at Irvine, they also have their own organics facility, Bee Canyon Greenery. They have, I believe, a slightly larger capacity, but they're in the same business. They're also accepting green waste that should be going to the landfill. So that's a huge deduction. I mean, if you're looking at 200 tons per day for us, and the same for Irvine, that's an accomplishment. So greeneries are phase 1. We have our phases 2 and 3, which is basically an expansion on our efforts to accommodate food waste, get it out of the waste stream and into a renewable energy type of facility. So phase 2 is actually involves co-digestion, and for that we are planning our facility. It's called a source separated organics facility that utilizes co-digestion in basically accepting food waste and some of the green waste and turn it into some sort of a renewable energy product that can be an RNG or a CNG or whatever. We're still looking at the different products that we can participate into. Phase 2 is anticipated to take place between 2025 to 2027. Right now, we are preparing a location at the site to accommodate or to house that SSO facility. We're extending utilities to there. We all know that anaerobic digestion, not anaerobic digestion, source separated organics facilities, they're energy hungry, so it requires a lot of power. I spoke about anaerobic digestion. That's actually our 3rd phase, slated right now to take place between 2027 and 2030, and that's going to be an anaerobic digester, which I confess I do not know much about. We're still in the research area. We're trying to figure out what that process is. We have been into a couple of field visits where we saw similar facilities, but it's a major operation. But anyways, in our horizon, that is our phase 3 to address 1383.
Oh, very good. Well, here's another food recycling question, and it's from Marion's wife, Sherry.
My name is Sherry Butterfield. I live in Mission Viejo and have been recycling food waste since the beginning of the year. Although I keep the lid on my large green waste container closed unless I'm pouring food waste into it, each time I lift the lid, I notice there is a large swarm of very small flies inside. What are these flies? Where do they come from? Is there any public health reason to be concerned about them?
Well, you never know what kind of questions we're going to get from the public. So, Haney, let me direct the question to you. What are these small flies, and do residents need to be concerned about them?
Right. So here at the department, we haven't really gone into the food waste collection and control. So we're still trying to build up our knowledge base. But I believe that those might be fruit flies. And if that's the case, I would strongly recommend keeping that dumpster away from any access points to the house, maybe doors or windows. Obviously, you don't want these flies to migrate into the house. And I believe Kate also made a suggestion of keeping maybe spraying the container with vinegar, or keeping a small plate of vinegar in the dumpster that will kind of help with that problem. Maybe also spraying alcohol every now and then until the problem goes away.
Well, there you go, Sherry. We have an answer for you. Let's go back to the audience for one more question.
Hi, I was wondering, what are the biggest challenges facing the waste industry over the next generation?
That's a great question. Why don't we get the perspective from all three of you? Let's start with Henny from OC Waste and Recycling Department.
All right. So as far as Prima, I mean, we're not involved with with hauling waste. So we serve those. I mean, waste haulers are our customers. I can definitely talk about the challenges for the waste disposal business, which is the core of our business. And I think many of these aspects might be also relevant to waste haulers. But our foremost important aspect of doing our business is safety. Definitely want to make sure that as a government agency, that all of our employees and staff, that they go home safe. At the end of the day, we do not like to have any sort of safety aspects that have been compromised, or injuries or anything, God forbid. Our other challenge is basically training our staff and retaining those good staff. Our business is not the prettiest, and not a lot of people like to work in a landfill. So it takes considerable effort to find those good qualified people, train them, and then keep the site interesting enough, and keep the job interesting enough to obviously reduce attrition. Another aspect that I would like to add is, as far as challenges, basically preparing our site for the next 100 years plus of service. We believe that Prima will be the last operating landfill in Orange County, and it is extremely important to us, and to me personally, is to prepare the site for service for that long. And that's part of the reason why we're constructing 4 new scales to serve our customers. We're about to advertise and award a construction project to prepare a new zone for waste disposal. We call it Zone 4. It's basically the other side of Avenida La Para, where the site is. Last but not least, I would say a huge challenge for us is to stay up to date with legislation. 1383 is a very good example on that, where we had to learn ourselves and educate our staff on the operation of a greenery facility. So that's definitely a change. I mean, there's going to be another 1383 and a subsequent 1383 that requires us to adjust our business model to accommodate these legislations and stay on the good side or stay compliant.
Kate, tell us about challenges facing Republic.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that actually that was a perfect segue from Haney talking about education and changes. And I think that one of the biggest challenges facing the industry as a whole is something we touched on a little bit earlier when we talked about how the industry has changed over the last few decades. It's been something that we've been working on and towards since recycling has become kind of more of a mainstream activity. It's the behavior and systematic changes that have to take place. It's getting people to participate in these programs. You know, recycling as a whole wasn't an overnight success. It can be argued really that we still have a lot left to learn, but we've come a long way. And we are making some strides in that area. I think that organic recycling presents those same challenges. And over the last decade, more and more recycling laws have been adopted with really good intentions, of course, including reducing greenhouse gases. So it's just going to take some time for the business side as well as the consumer side to adjust to these changes and move forward.
Well, thank you. And Hashem, what about CR&R?
Thank you, Dwayne. I absolutely agree with Kate in regards to her sentiments, and something also that touches upon the behavior aspect of our industry is something called Wishcycling, or the desire to have something recycled, even though when there's no economic market or viable commercial processing available for that. There's a large push for cradle to grave or end of life responsibility for manufacturers who create those products that are difficult for us to recycle. So really putting that onus back on the producers, and then ultimately just staying abreast of all of the changes in state law.
Well, thank you. You know, one thing a lot of people get confused about is what is and what is not recyclable. Things like orange juice cartons, milk cartons, cardboard pizza boxes. Can those things be recycled, Hashim?
Yes, they can. However, please note that greasy pizza boxes should be placed in your organics container if accepted by your waste service provider. Otherwise, it should go into the trash. You can also tear off the bottom of a pizza box if it's stained in grease. The clean half can go in the recycling, and the food sold can go into your organics container.
Very good. And Kate, anything different from you?
Yeah, I think same thing. I think first and foremost, I would just say to check with your local hauler to confirm what can or cannot be recycled through curbside programs. I know that we have a great resource through our Recycled Simplified website. I'm sure that many of the haulers have similar online resources to kind of help you navigate what can and cannot be accepted. I would say the best advice, if you don't know, stick with the main recyclable materials that you know for sure can be recycled, like paper, plastic bottles and jugs, metal and aluminum cans, clean cardboard, things like that. And if it doesn't fall into one of those categories, or if it has mixed materials, check with your local hauler to find out if that's something that you can put in your curbside bin.
Well, that sounds like great advice. Thanks a lot, Kate. We have another question for Haney. Can you give us more details about your methane and renewable gas energy program that you have?
Of course. So here at Prima, we have a state-of-the-art landfill gas collection and control system. So system is about $30 million. And like I said before, it requires numerous staff hours in monitoring and reporting to our regulators on the performance of the gas. As far as renewable energy and the utilization of the landfill gas, so as I mentioned before, we currently do have a landfill gas to energy facility that takes a good portion of the gas that is currently being collected. I think they take like almost 70% or 80% of that gas and use it in generating power. We do have at OC Waste, the department, we do have a whole division that is managing our renewable energy project. So that division has a number of engineers and specialists. They look at developing future plans, identifying future opportunities for landfill gas utilization into generating different sources of energy-friendly power. So I believe one of the projects that we're currently looking at is working with South Coast Water District on generating power that will be solely directed to their facility, I believe, down in Dana Point. Other options that we're looking at is the utilization of landfill gas and generating RNG/CNG, whichever makes more sense to our developers. And we're looking at these opportunities as future opportunities for utilizing our gas. But like I said, there is a whole section that is taking care of that business, and we do have a plan, at least for our site in here. I know they have the same for our two sister sites, but I can more talk about Prima here.
Again, it's pretty amazing what's going on in the landfills that most people don't know about. You know, I may be a little bit strange, but when I was a kid, I loved to play at the landfill when we went down there to take something in. But let me ask, if a private citizen wants to access the landfill, do they have the ability to do that? And what is the process? And that's for, you know, taking some of their own refuge to the landfill. Hanny, how do they do that?
Sure. So our site here, it serves private citizens, or we call them self-haulers, as well as commercial haulers. So I believe there is a rate structure for private citizens, and they get charged a fixed fee. I believe it's like $5 for a personal vehicle that has waste in it. And then for any small pickup trucks, anything that is less than 800 pounds, I believe, or there's some threshold, it goes up to like $20. So the fees are pretty reasonable for our self-haulers or residential customers to access the site and get rid of their unused items or unwanted items. Along with that, also here at Prima, and I believe it's also offered at the other two sites, is that we do provide tours. So if a citizen would like to take their family, their kids, whatever, for a landfill tour, we do provide that. And to make a reservation for that tour, all you have to do is just access our www.oclandfills.com. And over there is a link where you can reserve a private tour, actually. So we take those individuals into a van. They are accompanied by one of our engineers or site biologist, and you're giving like almost an hour to an hour and a half tour of the site to see landfilling in real time. And I know that has been quite interesting for many of our customers. I believe we just had multiple tours for an elementary school classes. So we got a whole bunch of 30 students in just one visit, and it was pretty interesting for us and for them.
Well, I can't think of a better field trip than to go down to the landfill. So at least kids in the now and in the future can take that trip. Thanks a lot for that. So as we wrap up the program, let me give each of you an opportunity to cover anything that we may have missed. Let's start with you, Kate.
Thank you. You know, I just want to say it's such an exciting time to be in the environmental services industry. People and consumers are excited to participate in sustainability programs. I see everyday businesses that were hesitant about getting started with these food waste programs establish efficient and effective programs. I just really want to encourage people to embrace some of these new changes. I know that it's not easy, but these changes really do have such a positive impact to our environment and to our world. Every day I see businesses, who are so surprised at how quickly their staff were able to adjust to the program and how well the program is running. And even more inspiring, we have businesses who went from throwing away edible food to now setting up donation programs with incredible food recovery organizations that we work with. It's a great time to be a part of this industry. We all have such a wonderful opportunity to be part of the change that our world really does need.
Thank you. Hashem?
I couldn't agree any more with Kate. I wanted to say thank you also to the South Orange County Economic Coalition and my fellow members here for the time this morning and afternoon and the efforts taken to educate the public on sustainability, recycling, and environmentalism.
Thank you. Haney?
Well, similar to Hashem, thank you for having us here. We're glad to always talk to our residents about our efforts in safeguarding the public health and safety. We're proud that for the past few years, we have been undergoing a cultural change. So we're trying to change the culture of our staff, mainly our employees, from just being our solely waste disposal facility and change that into a resource recovery facility. So along with that, we started a number of activities, metal and mattress recycling, and that happens or takes place for free, as well as our organics facility that I spoke about, our composting facility. And then we are looking very well for future expansion with co-digestion and anaerobic digestions as ways of getting rid of our methane and changing it into a useful form of energy. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Kate, Hashem, Haney, thank you very much for joining us here today. And to our audience, thank you for watching. Join us next month as we look at other issues and topics important to South Orange County. Thank you for being here. We'll see you next time.